Hey everybody, Erica here from In the Company of Cards. Welcome if you're new, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Make sure you're subscribed. Just check the button. If you'd like to be notified when I upload something, hit the bell. Make sure that it's set to all, not personalized, but all. Otherwise, the algorithm will personally decide what they think personally you should personally see. So just click all and then you'll be good. Thank you to everybody who watched Lena and me last night. It was a good time as always. If you're looking for how to view that video, it should be under the live tab because it's a live broadcast. So a few things I want to look at. I definitely, want to look at how um, the weekend will go in terms of the celebrations. Weather is an issue, so I want to look at that. But before I do that, there's something else I think I want to look at. So I don't know if if you're not American, maybe have not kept such close tabs on this particular situation that I want to discuss, but there was a verdict handed down the other day, maybe yesterday, day before, I'm not sure. A guilty verdict against a 19-year-old. His name is Carmelo Anthony. He's a young black man from Frisco, Texas. Uh, when he was 17, he was in an altercation. You can read about it if you want to get the details, and ended up stabbing another 17-year-old named Austin Metcalf once in the chest, and Austin Metcalf died. uh, it may sound sort of very cut and dried to you. Well, he stabbed a guy and that's it. But it's a little more involved than that. I am not the news. I am a commentator about the news. I am not the news. So do your own due diligence if you're interested in this case. But anyway, Carmelo Anthony was found guilty by an all-white jury. The prosecutor made a point of just striking down every juror of color in the beginning of the process. So it was an all-white jury, and he got sentenced to 35 years. He was sentenced as an adult. And again, I encourage you to look at the details of the case, but it just has put a lot of us in mind of the case of Kyle Rittenhouse back in 2020, who went on his little shooting spree with his AR-15 assault rifle and killed, uh, shot three black people, ended up killing two of them, and was acquitted. They said it was self-defense. At the same time, uh, there's another situation brewing, and it's a similar thing where we have a shopkeeper, and this was in South Carolina, and the store owner's name is Rick Chow, Chinese, and I think he's Chinese. I'm pretty sure Chow is Chinese name. He killed, shot a 14-year-old who had been in his store and had left. So this was outside. And the 14-year-old, his name is Cyrus Carmack Belton, was shot and killed, shot in the back and killed. And he also was found not guilty. And, I just, one wonders were the tables turned and were the assailants black and the victims, white, you know what I'm trying to say. Would the situation have ended up the same way? History tells us no. So at any rate, there's a lot of conversation about this, both in the Black community and the white community and the Asian community about these situations. So the first thing I would like to look at, we know that Carmelo Anthony is going to appeal. I would like to know if how his appeal will go. How will his appeal go? Again, it's not a jury of your peers to have the prosecutor strike every single Black juror. And there you are in Frisco, Texas, being judged. I mean, just anyway, I just want to know how his appeal process will go. Uh, I think what do is I'll use the young man card for Carmelo Anthony. And we want to know what his future looks like post appeal. Okay. And again, do your homework if you're interested in the case. I'm just commenting on the news. I'm not, and divining on the news. I'm not the newscaster here. So we're looking for the young man. Here he is. So this card will stand for Carmelo Anthony, who was sentenced to 35 years for murder. Okay. So we have the mice and the mountain, Carmelo Anthony, crossroads, and birds. I think the birds are interesting because, among other things, the birds card is a jury card for me. So the first card is the mice, and the mountain feels like this 35 year sentence. I think his sentence will be reduced because the mice tend to eat away at the next card. So the sentence will be reduced. I also wonder about whether he will get a new trial prior to that. Crossroads is like, he's on this road now, but this is an alternate road. And this is the jury for me. So I'm going to pull cards just for him under his card and see what I get. So I think his sentence will be reduced. He may get a new trial as well. He will do some time, probably more time than just time served, but I think he will get some relief in terms of his jail sentence. I think he will have some good fortune. So, you know, as John Donne says, any man's death diminishes me, but, we are all diminished also by a 35-year sentence for a 17-year-old. And when you hear the circumstances of the case, um, you might realize why I think it's important to look at that case. Now, as for the other one, the Rick Chow case, that's the one in South Carolina. And he shot the 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton in the back. And there's just a lot of conversation about this, mostly on TikTok. I am not on TikTok, for a lot of reasons, but I read about what's on TikTok. And so you have members of the Black community urging a boycott of Asian businesses. You have some Asians coming on TikTok and saying, there really has been some bad blood between those communities, and Black people have some justification in feeling as though they are treated as lesser than when they go into these establishments. So there have been Asian content creators who have talked about that, but there have also been Asian content creators who have said, "You want to boycott? Go ahead, boycott. Please do, because we own everything, and you're the ones who are going to be hurt. We have our own communities we can do business with, and we can do business in the white communities. You're the ones who need us. So come on, boycott us." So it's created this, the whole situation is just ugly. Uh, the whole thing, of course, feeds right into the felon's hand. I mean, hands. He's chomping at the bit for a race war, right? So, and it's lateral is the thing. Uh, you've got every other group who look around and come here and say, who's lower than me on a totem pole? And it's always Black people. And it's always about then seeking proximity to whiteness for these other groups, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Asian, whatever it is. It's that proximity to whiteness that's coveted. It's really unfortunate because bottom line is uh, nobody gets entree to that world except white people for real. So, but anyway, live and learn. I just want to know, I'm trying to think of a good question that I want to ask. What will happen as a result of this Black Asian tension? There's also tension between the Black community and the Hispanic community. Uh, people want Black people out in the streets protesting the immigration atrocities, and a lot of us have been out there, but a lot of us are saying, "Oh, and where have you been for us?" And I will say there are Hispanic creators who have gone on social media and said the same thing. So, um, but it's this lateral fighting that people in the administration salivate over. So I just, it's going to be a hot summer. It's going to be a hot July. And temperature-wise, with El Nino, making it temperature-wise a very, very hot summer here in the country, but also hot in terms of tensions. And I just want to know whether these tensions will escalate, or will people come together and realize that uh, who the real foe in this whole thing is. So let's see, what should I look at? Hmm. I think I'll look at the garden. Garden is everybody, people. So I'm thinking a Rodney King, are we going to get along? For those of you who remember back, Rodney King, the LA um, riots. So I'm going to use the garden. I just want to look at the summer, especially July, and I want to know how things will be in terms of interracial stuff. We'll leave the administration out of it for the moment, but just in terms of interracial tensions. Okay. So we're using the garden. Okay, so this stands for, everybody. And I'm asking about whether there will be particularly difficult energies in terms of racial tensions in the summer. Okay, and I have crossroads, dog. garden, the older woman card, and then the book. Don't love the fact that the book is there because, anything could jump off, and the felon could certainly encourage things where he's saying he's going to put ice in New York. I'm going to tell you something, that's not going to work. Good luck with that because that New York will help him out with that one because that is just not going to go well for him. He will find that out. But the fact that the book is the last card means there's some unsettled energy around the question so that I can't come up with a yes no, but let me look. I think there will be people who do their damnedest to ease tensions, uh, heal the rifts between groups and among groups, because this is the book, and then the clarifiers are the young woman, the key, and the letter. So I think there will be a lot written, a lot orated that will help people find common ground, or at least be able to listen, to hear the other with a listening ear. So I don't see any big, huge escalation of anything. This is a yin energy, so it's not aggressive or assertive in any way. I like the dog. I mean, that's the card for trust and friendship. And I'll tell you something again, uh, we don't need to be fighting each other. But there's a lot of racism out there in places that you might not expect it to be. And again, I have seen this my whole life, and my life has been long so far. And I have seen people who look around and say, "Who's lower than me in this totem pole? Well, let me go step on them." And it's not right. And we're going to have to learn how to live together if we're going to get rid of what got going on and move forward. Something just dropped. I don't know what that was. It wasn't a card, so okay. Uh, I do think that uh, well, the White House, of course, is in an uproar over this e-file situation, the latest um, installment of it, which is the New York Times excerpt of the book by Maggie Haberman, and I forget her co-author. But anyway, talking about all of the meetings, plural, in the Situation Room, where all of the most important decisions are made, and multiple meetings in the Situation Room without the felon's presence, of administration officials trying to decide how to handle the fact that the felon is all over the files. And we have Vance apparently saying, "Oh, I think everything should be just out. Put it all out there. It'll look like, he's above board and not trying to hide anything." And well, obviously, that's not the direction that they went in. And obviously, you have to really think about what were Vance's motives for saying that. I mean, how could they not have been sort of sabotagey kind of motives? Uh, but I mean, it looks very bad. There are people who are saying this is the felon's Watergate. And of course, if you're too young, you won't know maybe what that means. But Watergate was what caused Nixon to resign. Now, I don't see the felon ever, under any circumstances, resigning. Um, I mean, he could be presented with a choice: either leave and say it's because, you're old and you're sick and you want to spend time with your family, or you'll be frog marched out because you'll be impeached and then fired. But I just want to know whether what effect will this book have, this article in the Times, which is an excerpt from the book. What effect will this book have in moving the needle uh, any closer to getting us to the end of this? So I'm going to use the book, but this time, you know how normally the book is about things we don't know? This time it's not. This book, my intention is for the book to refer to the Maggie Haberman book. And that is what was excerpted from the Times, in the Times, and had all of that scandalous um, information about the felon's predilections. I'll let you read the article for yourself or the excerpt for yourself. Because again, I'm not the news. um, I just want to know what effect will the book have in moving the Epstein thing one way or the other? I also know that there's a move on the part of the people in the administration to void the felon's two previous impeachments. That's interesting. Will that go anywhere? Um, but first, let's look at this excerpt, this book. Will it move the needle? Um, we know that Comer, I called him Comey yesterday. Obviously, I didn't mean that. Comer, who is the Republican head of the committee, says that he wants Blanche to come testify under oath in front of them. Whether Blanche will or won't, who knows? But let's look at that. So we're going to use the book. What effect will this book have in moving the needle one way or the other in the e-file saga? Okay, so this is that new book, all of that scandalous information. Okay, interesting. I am going to pull some more cards, but let's look at these original five. We have the tree, the birds. This is the Haberman book, the mountain, and the bear. Okay, really interesting. So the first thing is that, these conversations in the Situation Room took place in 2025, which tells us that for some considerable time, um, a lot of the people in the administration, certainly the closest people to the felon in the administration, knew that he was a bad operator, knew not only that he was involved, but how deeply involved he was in the world of Mr. E. What a mover and a shaker and a player he was. So they've known it for a long time. And we're finding that out like for real, for real. Not that we didn't suspect, but now we really know. And that they tried to for the longest time to cover it up, to hide it. This has created huge buzz. We know that the felons started the war in Iran to get rid of the buzz about the e-files. We know that he's done a lot of stuff, but I have always said it's going to circle back and circle back and circle back and circle back to the e-files, and here it is. This is that book that is this huge expose. And what will it do? Well, it will block the felon. Block him from what? Well, from any kind of, I don't know, renaissance, second life, um, resurrection. It will block him from that. All the bullying in the world. it isn't going to work. But let's pull some more cards and see what we got. So, okay. I didn't pull any on the tree. The tree is the card for a long time, right? So we know that they've all known about how bad a guy he is for a long time and that he was, even though he ran, of course, on getting to the bottom of the e-files, he's the one at the bottom, in the middle, and at the top. He's all over the e-files. So I pulled cards on the birds because the birds here is all of the buzz and all of the people talking. It's the public, us, the public, of course. It's the world talking because it's a world issue, right? But it's also people in government talking about this in Congress. Look at the clarifiers, the coffin, the younger man, and the key. Listen, I think people are thinking about ways to bury him. Obviously, I just said that the vice president was one of those people. But the thinking is on the part of increasing numbers of people, he's really bringing all the rest of us down with him, just by association, just because we tried to protect him. So I don't know. Is there a way to get rid of him? I don't mean like that. I mean, have him leave office, uh, install the next guy. And that looks like it's what a lot of people want to do. More people want to do that today than wanted to do it yesterday. Okay, here's the book, Crossroads, Moon, and hold on, I'll hold off on the third clarifier for a second. So this is the book that came out. People have now changed their opinion of him. They've changed. They were going that way, now they're going that way. They've changed their opinion of him. This is the card for their opinion of him. And the last clarifier is mice. They think less of him. The book will make even his most ardent supporters think less of him. I mean, if you're a Charlie Kirk fan, apparently he called up Charlie Kirk and yelled at him because Charlie was saying, yeah, open the files, whatever. So the president called him, yelled at him, and so Charlie got up on stage and said, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna trust my friends in the administration and I'm not gonna talk about this anymore." Like he folded is what he did. I'm not a fan of him anyway. I mean, sorry that he died, but I'm just saying. Um, uh, there are people who are fans of that guy who will say, wait, what? The felon twisted his arm in that way? So he's gonna really go down hard in the estimation of people who really did like him. Again, there will always be the diehards who will, for them, he's a god. But I'm talking about short of that, he will lose support. The mountain. This is what's now in front of him as a result of that book. He can't pass go. The clarifiers are the snake, the fox, and the star. So he is prevented from getting to any kind of hopeful resolution of this. He will be seen. He's blocked because, again, this book is trouble. He is trouble. And I mean, this just shows his dishonesty. I'll just be nice and say that. His dishonesty about the whole thing. Yeah, vote for me. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. No, you're not. I mean, we saw that if you read the piece. Not that we didn't know it before, but I'm just saying, he's really not winning any friends as a result of this book. Here he is at his worst, right? His most malignant, narcissistic iteration. Tower, child, and anchor. I mean, I think this anchor doesn't keep him safe. I think this anchor sinks him. We're talking about children, young women and children. He should be in jail. That's where he should be. The I can mirror this last card, the anchor, with this other very heavy, weighted down card, the tree. This will, as you can imagine, cause his heart to palpitate. He will be losing even more sleep than he's already losing. So this will affect his health, absolutely. Um, it could be his Watergate, but again, I mean, I agree with everybody else. It's taking a long time. Okay. Uh, so, the felon's got all these birthday plans, plans for both his birthday and for the nation's birthday. And one of his plans for the nation's birthday is what is he calling it? America State Fair. And all the states, obviously, we're going to be represented. But a bunch of them have pulled out. So I will tell you which ones they are. Oregon has pulled out. State of Washington has pulled out. North Carolina has pulled out. Connecticut has pulled out. Illinois, Maine, and Massachusetts have all pulled out. I don't see California on my list, but can't imagine why we want to go either. So I want to know, will his state fair happen or will it be like all his other ventures that are sort of fizzling? Will the state fair happen? I'm going to use the garden for the state fair. Will the felons state fair to celebrate our 250th, will it happen? So we're looking for the garden. Nice tree. Here's the state fair. Here's him. And here's a female energy, which I don't think is unnecessarily anyone, except that we go from yang to yin. So he becomes less powerful. It becomes a less of a big deal. And particularly because we've got the mice here. This also can stand for the whole Epstein thing. Do you want to go to a state fair where, that he sponsors when this whole E thing is going on? So, that will just erode anybody's inclination to do anything but maybe have I don't know, a Fourth of July picnic in their backyard. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be with that mice card there, it's going to be a bust. But closer to the day, we have Sunday coming, and Sunday is his birthday. Uh, it looks like, well, we know that the UFC fight, somebody asked me, what is the UFC? Again, I'm not the news, you all. So just Google it. It's the cage fight, right? Uh, so we know that the cage fight is supposed to happen. We know that there's been a lawsuit trying to stop it. but it may very well be that the party who is bringing the lawsuit will be determined not to have standing um, sufficient to making the claim that the thing shouldn't proceed. It's also true that a ton of money has been spent. It's also true that a ton of money stands to be made by the felon and his friends from this event. It's also true that thunderstorms are forecast at 87% currently for that day, and it's going to be hot. And this structure, I know that there's a, you've seen it, it looks like a big, I don't know, Ferris wheel. There's a big structure. Nevertheless, the whole thing is outside. This structure looks to me like it's metal, so I can't imagine that's very safe. I looked at this the other day and I saw there would be a delay, like maybe a rain delay. So it's delayed for a few hours, or maybe it's delayed till the next day. I don't know. But let's look because Mother Nature may be conspiring along with us to ruin the birthday boy's UFC fighting party. So, we'll use the scythe because they're fighting, and the scythe is the card for violence, for fighting. Can you believe this? I mean, of all the things to think of to celebrate Flag Day or your birthday if you're president, a UFC match? All right. So we're going to use the scythe and we want to see what are the odds of this thing happening and happening on time and going off without a hitch. Okay, so this is the cage fight. Okay. I mean, again, everything everything is tinged, I'm going to say, colored with the e-file situation and the administration's collusion in uh, in hiding the felon from the consequences of his actions. So we have the young woman, we have the birds, we have the UFC fight, we have the other woman card, and we have the fox. Uh, I think this is just the e-file situation, and I can mirror it with the last card. People are just shaking their heads at him over this. People are talking about nothing but this, the e-files. But I don't know why they're telling me about the e-files, because I'm asking about the UFC fight, except to say that the e-file situation and the recent revelations do cast a pall over everything for him. So here's the cage fight. We have the tree, the garden, clouds. I think that weather will cause a delay. This feels to me like a delay. It's an outside event, and I think it will be delayed. Um, I'm gonna, oops, cards facing the wrong way. I'm gonna pull cards on the fox. So this is the last card, the fox, and then the ship. Crossroads and the House. Hmm. I think it might be scheduled for another time. Again, I could be right. Maybe I'm wrong. Just reading cards. Energy is mutable and so is the weather. But I do think that there will be issues. I don't think that the judge will um, say that it can't go on. I wish the judge would, but I don't think that will happen. I think it'll be more um, a question of whether. Let's see, is there anything else well, I think that's it for today. Um, Sunday, I will be recording a conversation with Sheila Haidt. A lot of you asked that I have her back. She's an astrologer, and we're going to look at the energies of the US as we go into this 250th birthday celebration. I actually had already had this conversation with her, but I forgot to hit the record button. So we're going to have it again because the energies are still the energies. So I hope you'll join me for that. I'll put that up sometime Sunday evening. And I may come on tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll see. What's today? I don't even know. Is today oh, today's only Thursday, right? Is today Thursday? Yeah. So I may come on tomorrow or Saturday. But anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. The numbers are still a little wonky. I've decided that I don't really care. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about do I reach a certain number by the channel's second birthday, which will be August 1st, or by my big birthday, which is July 29th. I don't care about any of that. And I said that in my very first broadcast. I remember saying, you know, maybe it'll just be the five of us here and that's good enough for me. I'm happy that you're with me. It's now grown to 38,000 plus, and I'm grateful for everyone. So whatever the algorithm does, or whatever you decide your own tolerance level is for, this kind of content, because I know it's a lot. It's a lot for everybody. But I am grateful for those of you who stay around. I'm grateful for those of you who share my content with people whom you think might enjoy it. And I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I will see you soon. Take care.